Returning now to the Palestinian drive for statehood at the United Nations, and I'm joined in the studio by World Jewish Congress Secretary General Dan Diker. Dan, thanks for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, the WJC, together with the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs, has come out with a new book. You're having a conference tomorrow to unveil that book, to talk about the rights of Israel as the nation state of the Jewish people and international diplomacy. How does this tie into the PA bid for statehood?
Well, the Palestinian Authority for some years now has been creating their own very much distorted narrative about, who owns what and who has what rights. And what we find is that the world has been supporting what they call Palestinian rights, but when it comes to Jewish rights or Israel's rights as a nation state, everyone seems to draw a blank stare on their face, or they forget, or they willfully ignore. So the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs, along with us, the World Jewish Congress, had decided some months ago to come out with the real response, which is this is the first time in the history of the State of Israel that such a text has been written by some of the greatest international jurists in the world. And people like Professor Alan Dershowitz of Harvard, Professor Ruth Gaveston of Israel, even historians such as Sir Martin Gilbert, Professor Avineri, even the nephew of Gene Rostow, who negotiated UN Security Council Resolution 242, which is currently being violated by the Palestinians on their way to the UN, is writing in this book on Israel's rights. Professor Ruth Lapidot writing on the distorted understanding of UN Security Council Resolution 242, which still protects Israel's rights in international diplomacy. So we see this as a real response, a medium to long-term response that will help not only the Jewish world, but diplomats and media and the West at large really understand what Israel's legal rights are that have been so egregiously violated through this whole unilateral Palestinian process.
All right, the United States has already said publicly it will veto a Palestinian statehood bid if it comes to the Security Council. Will the U.S. have to stand alone, or do you think other nations will join in this veto movement?
Well, we only have indications at this juncture. The indications at present are that the Palestinian Authority does not have a majority in the Security Council that would force the United States to level that veto. However, it certainly appears that the United States is the only country, being one of 5 permanent members of the Security Council, that will level that veto. And in fact, France and the United Kingdom have been very hush-hush about which way they're going to go. We do know that the French have been working very, very intensively on a General Assembly text in the event that the Palestinians either skip the Security Council or are turned down by this, shut down by this American veto, and then go to the General Assembly where they could pass any resolution. They have an automatic majority. But the United States certainly would stand alone, it seems, in the Security Council, and they're not particularly happy about standing alone.
All right, we have about 30 seconds left. Why do you think the Palestinians pushed this issue into the U.S., the face of the U.S.? Aren't they sort of cutting off the hand that feeds them?
Well, that's a very important question because the United States supplies some $500 million a year. The Congress, Democrats and Republicans alike, are really outraged at this Palestinian move, and they have said in no uncertain terms that they will cut off funding. The Palestinians, it seems, are following the line of the Fatah, which is to embarrass the United States at every possible opportunity, and that would mean to isolate them in the Security Council, force them to take that move, and unfortunately, in terms of the peace process, they'll also be unraveling the peace process, and therefore this unilateral move for statehood will bring exactly the opposite, most probably end the Palestinian possibilities for statehood going forward, recognized by the international community.
Dan Diker, Secretary General of the World Jewish Congress, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.